This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social. Delighted to be joined here by the former IBF World Featherweight Champion Lee Selby. Lee, first time I've introduced you as the former World Champion. Not as good as it used to be, is it?
No, it don't sound nice. So you should have introduced me as Lee Selby, the future lightweight champion.
Soon to be two-weight World Champion, Lightning Lee Selby. Lee, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
I was just mentioned this to you off camera. You're looking a little bit fuller in the face than you usually look in on a Thursday before fight night. You returned to lightweight after a kind of well-documented struggle to make featherweight. How's it been in preparation for the fight?
It's been great. You know, like you said, I look healthier, fuller in the face. The struggle getting down to weight isn't the same as it was when I was making 126. But again, it's still a difficult task to make 135. I'm big framed, and you'll see tomorrow at the weigh-in what kind of shape and like my body fat.
Thanks. Sorry. Bit excited. I haven't seen you in a while. Why the jump to lightweight? Was 130 ever a consideration, going to super feather rather than jumping two weight classes?
To be honest, 130 is still an option. If a big fight come up with 130, I'd try and make it. But looking back at featherweight now, how I done it. Like I said, when you see my body tomorrow on the scales, you'll be shocked yourself how I made 9. So I don't know.
Now you mentioned that. I mean, I think for a long time people had questioned whether or not you could do featherweight safely. When did the cracks start showing, as it were? When did it become? I mean, it's always difficult to make weight, as you just mentioned about 135. But when did it become a real problem making weight a feather?
To be honest, it's been a problem from early on. But obviously, I've been making featherweight for the last 10 years. So my body, when I was making the beginning, I had a different body type. I was only a youngster. But as I grew, I'd imagine your bones thick, and I put on a bit of muscle mass, and it got difficult. But looking back, in an ideal world, I should have won the world title, had the first defence out in America, and then stepped up. But what's done's done. I had a great run of featherweight, and onwards and upwards from here.
How's it changed your training? Obviously, you've been able to eat more, take on more fluids, particularly in fight week. Has training allowed you to work on your technical skills and work on things that aren't just fat camp, essentially, or worrying about the weight?
To be honest, my training's always gone well early on. It's just the last few weeks of making weight. That's when I really deplete my body. But leading up to all my fights, the sparring always goes well. We go on trips away to USA sparring, and it always goes great. It's just those last few weeks of cutting the food up.
Just final word on your last fight, or your featherweight career, as it were. On the night against Josh Warrington, was he better than you expected? Now you've looked back at the fight, do you give him more credit than potentially you would have done before the fight?
He was slightly better, yes. But I give him credit beforehand. I don't think I give it to him, but obviously you credit your opponents. And he done well. To beat a jaded Lee Selby, you've got to be a good fighter. And then he went on to beat Carl Frampton, so all credit to him. What
did you make of that fight? I mean, Carl Frampton was somebody that you'd been mooted to be fighting and kind of rumoured to be fighting for a long time. Were you surprised that Josh was able to come past Carl Frampton?
No, I picked him to win the fight just because of his style. But I didn't watch the fight, but I did pick him to win it.
So what's next for you up at lightweight? Quite wide, not wide open division. I mean, Lomachenko's holding the titles. I think Luke Campbell's been another name that's kind of been mentioned around a potential fight. I'm sure you're looking to get into world title contention as soon as possible, but when can we realistically expect that to be?
To be honest, I just take one fight at a time, one step at a time. And if you want to find out any more, you speak to the man in a good suit.
I was just about to come on to that. I'm delighted to be joined by a very dapper looking Chris Sanager. Not really used to you looking this sharp. Nice suit.
Yes, all thanks to Nathan Palmer. Bespoke. Nice suit, eh?
Bespoke? Who's been teaching you new words?
Oh, that's what he's told me. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So let's talk about this man to your right, Lee Selby, making his return to the ring. As I just said to Lee, really, I think it was kind of spoken about for a long time about the weight. In your role as kind of trainer and manager, now he's moved up in weight. How much easier has that made it for you to prepare him for this fight?
Yes, you know, naturally Tony Borg's the trainer, but I do take him away, and when we're away, I'm always watching what he eats, and it's been a lot easier. And what you said earlier is dead right, even though he didn't say that he's been able to work more on his skills, you know, the last few weeks, rather than just trying to to diet and get down to the weight. You know, even our conversations are different. And as regards boxing, I think give it this time next year, Lee Selby will be in with one of the massive names of boxing.
Lee, just go back to yourself. What do you know about your opponent, Omar Douglas?
I know he's a good fighter. I don't like study my opponents. I just have a quick look on YouTube just to check out their style. He comes forward, throws a good left hook. He's knocked most of his opponents out early. 2 defeats against world-class fighters. And it's going to be a proper fight. Good test.
Just before I wrap up, something I also spoke to you about briefly off camera, your brother, Andrew Selby, who's one of my favourite fighters, is now back in the gym. He's got a fight for a WBC world title eliminator. How good is it to see such a talent like Andrew Selby back in the ring?
It's great to see. You know, he's back in the gym. He's focused, he's fit, and he fights away in Mexico on, is it
March the 23rd, actually.
Yeah, March the 23rd.
March 23rd.
In the final eliminator for the WBC title. When he wins that, then he goes on to fight Charlie Edwards.
What do you make of that fight? Charlie, somebody just picked up the WBC title. I know they were on GB together as amateurs. What do you make of that fight if Andrew gets the chance to challenge Charlie Edwards?
I think it's a great fight. I'm sure they've boxed once or twice as amateurs. I think Andrew would have won them. But it's a great fight. They've both improved, obviously, from when they were youngsters. Charlie's a great champion, and Andrew's going to be a great contender.
Okay, well, Lightning Lee Selby, thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Real pleasure to see you back and looking so chubby and healthy, and look forward to seeing you in the ring on Saturday night.
Nice one, thank you.
Cheers, mate. Nice one.